Senate Democrats are promising they'll try again to pass President Biden's infrastructure package. Republicans blocked a vote yesterday to halt debate on the more than $1 trillion spending plan. Every GOP senator voted no, with Republican Party leaders saying the details aren't set just yet.
Around here, we typically write the bills before we vote on them.
We often agree to move forward with debates on issues before we have final text of the bill in hand.
Democrat Majority Leader Chuck Schumer voted with Republicans against the bill. That allows him to bring the bill up again at a later date. One of the biggest supporters of the measure is Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg. Fox 46 had a chance to speak to the secretary about the bill and its potential impact in the U.S. and us here in the Carolinas. And Wyatt?
Infrastructure is front and center in Washington this week. Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg joins us. Thank you for your time, Secretary.
Thank you for having me on.
So the $1.2 trillion infrastructure framework has bipartisan support. What's the urgency to get this deal done?
Well, the urgency is that we as a country have been waiting too long to do something about our infrastructure. We're not even in the top 10. There are thousands of miles of highway and more than 1,000 bridges in North Carolina alone that are in poor condition. If you look at a list of the top 25 airports, in some rankings, not one of them is a U.S. airport. We cannot remain the leading country in the world. We certainly can't remain the leading economy in the world if we don't do something about this. And so Democrats and Republicans who don't agree on much sat down at the table, shook hands with the president, and came to an agreement on this framework that will create that urgent action and support for us to invest. And while we're at it, create millions of good paying jobs. And that's the other reason this is urgent. We need to support our economy for the future. And the jobs we're going to create, both directly working on the upgrades from roads and highways to pipes and fiber optic cable, and the jobs we're going to support by just having a better transportation system as a country, which makes us more efficient. All of these things help build us better for the future.
And how do you fix decades of underfunding of infrastructure in 4 years or even 8 years?
Well, you know, this is why we need a once-in-a-generation investment. The funding that we're talking about here, and let's be clear, it's a big number. It's a $1.2 trillion vision. That includes the most we've done on roads and bridges since the Eisenhower administration. It's the most we've done to support public transit ever. It's the most that we've done to support passenger rail in this country since Amtrak was set up in the first place. But frankly, that's the scale of the challenge. That's what it'll take to fix what we have and to prepare for a future where we can actually capture the promise of the 21st century. And again, I find that most Americans already get it, already agree. We're just trying to make sure that Capitol Hill does the same and sends that bill to the president's desk.
Yeah, because they drive over those roads every single day. And you've seen the aging infrastructure for yourself with trips around the country, including here in North Carolina. What improvements can North Carolinians expect from this package?
You know, North Carolina is a state that's seeing a lot of opportunity, a lot of growth, and making some very smart investments in things like transit to help people get around. So we want to make sure that we're supporting that with the largest investment in public transit ever. We also want to make sure for any community where parents are concerned about their kids having lead in their drinking water, that they benefit from this peace of mind of knowing that we're going to take care of 100% of those lead service lines around the country. That's what the president has called for, and that's what we're asking Congress to do. So whether we're talking about fast, affordable internet or access to a good airport or just having a good road to get to school or to get to work, we got to do all of these things. And these improvements will come to North Carolina and to every part of the country if we get the bill passed and signed.
And the bipartisan infrastructure package is just one of the spending plans the president would eventually like to see. How do you pay for all of what the president wants and get the price tag to a point where you've got Republican support?
Well, let's make clear that we can absolutely afford to do this. After all, it would be very strange if the wealthiest economy in the world couldn't afford to at least be back in the top 10 when it came to infrastructure. We also need to make sure that we're investing in things like childcare, making childcare affordable, paid family leave. Again, in the richest country in the world, we don't have paid parental leave. Most parents in most countries, rich and not even the rich countries, can just take that for granted. So how do we pay for it? Well, the president has proposed that we do it by asking corporations and the wealthy to pay their fair share. It turns out that you could have a tax rate that's still lower than it's been for most of my lifetime, but a little more fair at a time like this when you got multi-billion-dollar corporations, some of them paying zero in taxes when we've got some of the wealthiest people in this country who, if you look as a percentage, they actually pay less in taxes than a school teacher or a firefighter. People know that doesn't make sense. Democrats and Republicans around the country know that that doesn't make sense. Now the president's been flexible on funding. The only red line he's drawn is that he will not be willing to raise taxes on anybody making less than $400,000 a year, because he believes middle-class Americans, working Americans, are already paying more than enough.
And as far as the extended child tax credits that started going out last week, do you see this as something that could become permanent?
We think so. We hope so. And we believe extending that should be part of this budget resolution process. We're talking about a chance to cut child poverty in half, to create opportunities for both parents and children by taking that burden of poverty away. And, you know, if we want to say that we support American families, this is a chance literally to put our money where our mouth is. The moves that happened as part of the rescue plan to begin this have already made such a big difference. Parents are seeing those payments right now. And it's because of President Biden's leadership. But I would like to believe that Republicans could maybe get around to supporting that, too. If not, we're going to continue to pursue it anyway, because it's so important.
Secretary Pete Buttigieg of Transportation, thank you so much for joining us here on Good Day. We do appreciate your time.
Thanks for having me on.